Hey everybody! How's it going? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed the previous English book review video. Well, this time I read A Wild Sheep Chase by the Japanese author Haruki Murakami. Okay, let's talk about the title first. Well, I'm not an expert of English language and I'm still learning English as my second language. But does this title, A Wild Sheep Chase, give you the same vibe as Wild Goose Chase? I think Wild Goose Chase means something like a complicated, very difficult and prolonged pursuit or search of something. I just simply don't know if it's a natural thing or too small thing to mention, but just this English title gives a lot more meaning than one in Japanese, which was original. The Japanese original title is Hitsujio Meguru Boken, which if you translate literally, word by word, means just simply the adventure about sheep. So when I heard this Japanese title for the first time, I didn't get anything from it. It sounds super abstract, just the adventure about a sheep. That could mean so many things, but this English title gives you like more information or clue about what kind of story this is going to be, which is a very complicated and hopeless chase for the sheep. And I thought whoever came up with this English title was brilliant. The story in extreme short is that this unnamed narrator who runs an advertisement company threatened by the biggest right-wing organization in Japan to go find this particular sheep that was photobombed in his advertisement goes on the journey to find this sheep. Well, next, I would like to talk about how easy to read this novel compared to his previous works, which are Hear the Wind Sing and Pinball 1973. So these three books are regarded unofficially as the Rat Trilogy. But if you like to count Dance 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 as the fourth, I guess you could call them as the Unnamed Myself Tetralogy or Unnamed Narrators Tetralogy. But I haven't read the Dance 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 yet, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. So I read these three novels chronologically. First Hear the Wind Sing, next Pinball 1973, and then A Wild Sheep Chase. And enjoyed this A Wild Sheep Chase the best among these. It is because simply it felt like a legit novel. A novel with clear plot, with characters pursuing something in the story. Well, Haruki Murakami's first novel, Hear the Wind Sing, as many people describe in their reviews, was not written in sequence. So it was really confusing while reading, and also it was not clear at all what the character is searching for or fighting for, which made the story kind of plotless. But there are many great books which doesn't have a clear plot, such as On the Road by Jack Kerouac. Well, not that these plotless novels are bad read, but it's just not easy to enjoy those books personally. Or I would say just some people like it and others don't. But in next novel, Pinball 1973, somehow got better when it comes to storyline and in the objectives of the characters. So that was more enjoyable for me. And then finally this book, A Wild Sheep Chase. This book was such a page turner for me. From the beginning till the very end, it was such a journey. And in addition to that, I really loved how unreality intervenes with reality in the story. The 90% of the story is believable. There are many subjects that are almost unbelievable but still possible. that fine balance between reality and unreality was the part of reasons I really loved this novel. I could understand why Mr. Murakami wanted to regard this novel as his debut work as opposed to Hear the Wind Sing. Overall, this book was well written and well organized, legit page turner. Now let's talk about the title of part 1. It says November 25th, 1970. So, if you are very familiar with Japanese history, this number might strike something. But if you're not alone. I had no idea until I finished that chapter and googled the date. This day, November 25th, 1970, is the date when this very famous Japanese novelist Yukio Mishima committed suicide. I'm not familiar with Yukio Mishima or any novel by him, but I remember I learned his suicide was mentioned in Japanese history book at school. It's a huge thing that happened at the time. If you're not familiar with Yukio Mishima or any of his works, I suggest you to just Google it and you'll find a lot of information, and many of his novels are very popular internationally. Anyway, what I wanted to say from this chapter title was, this novel, as well as his previous 2 novels, Hear the Wind Sing and Pinball 1973, has a lot of references that reflects the time of the story in Japan. So if you are familiar with Japanese modern history, especially before the war, World War II to after the war, you will definitely enjoy those references about things that happen in Japan and other small stuffs like name of cars or cigarettes and songs from jukebox. In my case, I don't have that kind of knowledge. I enjoy the novel, but if I had those background knowledge, I would have enjoyed more. At last, let's talk about the sheep. As it is described at the end of the story, the sheep is symbolism of evil. This sheep-shaped evil is trying to cause a chaos by means of human weakness. Well, everybody has some weakness. Every single human being has a weakness. That's human, and when you are in a weak state, you like to rely on something. Sometimes that something could be a invisible evil that changes its shape into something revealing. That's kind of similar to how people get into weird extreme religions. There's this terrorism attack in Japan in 1995, which was conducted by this famous religious cult. Those terrorism or extreme religions have some common feature with this sheep-shaped evil, I think. However, where did this sheep come from? In the story, it says it was brought by the sheep professor from Manchuria to Japan. So, the sheep-shaped evil was created in Manchuria? Manchuria is a nation where Japanese military took charge of its politics during the war. So maybe brutality of Japanese army, which was manifesting militarism and colonialism at the time, could be a part of evil that the sheep symbolize. Who knows? Well, thank you for watching this English book review video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got interested in this novel by Haruki Murakami. Please leave comments below if you want to say something. I'm planning to read more novels by Mr. Murakami. If you like this video, you can subscribe my channel, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in next videos. Bye!